I thought Druski was going on a tour to do stand-up. And I think a lot of people, maybe foolishly, we thought that. So apparently, some of the reviews are starting to come in. And we could look it up live, actually. And people are saying it's not a comedy tour. In the sense of it's not stand-up, right? Again, I keep telling y'all that's the final step for Druski. If Druski gets a fire stand-up, he is going to be the new Kevin Hart of this era, right? Because we're looking for it. Who's going to be a social media guy who dominates so crazy on socials, but then goes on tour ultimately and kills it, right? If you kind of just search on Twitter, and that's as much as my research went. By the way, I'm going to go to a show whenever it comes to New York. What the fuck is this? So, I don't know. There's a few, actually, here we go. I had a few people who said they were reviewing the tour. So let me see how that went. Here we go, chat. Apparently started in some city. Here we go.
Y'all know I don't even get on Instagram and talk to y'all like that. So I feel like that should say a lot to begin with. I went to that fucking comedy show last night. The only thing comedic about it was how far this man has gotten in life without telling jokes.
Okay. I think that's a little bit unfair criticism. Again, I read like a bunch of things, and maybe again, I'm reading, maybe the people who did have a positive experience won't be putting it out as much, but a lot of people said they thought the format was different, right? So essentially, Druski's on tour now, and he's doing what he did on Instagram Live, right? So he does this Could Have Been Records. He's doing it live, right? A lot of people thought the tour was just going to be called Woulda, Coulda, Shoulda, but they thought he was doing traditional stand-up. Instead, the tour, for the most part, is him judging people coming up on stage. And people somewhat feel disappointed. Yeah, anyway.
His skits are funny. His little IG lives, all that shit is funny. But the reality of the matter is, like, his jokes are literally just making jokes about other people. It's like when you're in middle school and niggas roasting and then someone goes, I know you ain't laughing, and start talking shit about them. And essentially what his show is like what you see online when like people are auditioning to be like a part of his Could Have Been Records or whatever. And then he's basically just talking shit about their act, talking shit about how they do or do not have crowd control. For the girls, if they didn't look fuckable, he was not fucking with them. And the only comments were about like, if he's like, oh, I can't get with that because she moving too much, da-da-da-da-da. Pussy was never on the table, sir. Also, I really just need to get this off my chest because he brought a white boy onto the stage to audition. The white boy proceeded to try to sing My Nigga by YG. Music over them trying to tell jokes. It's him, like, the girls dancing, and he kind of like creeping up, like behind them. There was a boy dancing. Well, he was singing and dancing. And it's the way Druski was coming behind him.
Okay, this person, even though they paid for the comedy tour, might just be a fucking hater. I did look up for some video of the tour, which also still not going to give an accurate depiction because we're not at the tour, clearly. But, again, and if you're wondering what my interest is in it, is because I'm a huge fan of stand-up. I'm a huge fan of comedy. And I think Druski, he's in a position where he's going to have pressure. Like, there's tremendous pressure for him to either knock this out the park or not do good, right? And I think, people like me, I want to see him do good. But apparently this is kind of like a little excerpt of kind of how it kind of looks.
Put this shit on, nigga. Y'all shut the fuck up and sit the fuck down, bitch. Playing with y'all ass, nigga. The fuck wrong with y'all? Y'all see how I got this shit night shit on? And I ain't bullshitting with you. What you come to do for real?
So I'm a pop artist here in the city, and I came to perform my song called Bitch. And it's...
I knew it was pop. I'll tell you that right now.
Yes. I'm ready to give y'all a show if you want to be entertained. If you're ready to dance on Trina?
So it appears that some people believe they got finesse because they're saying this is a traveling talent show, right? Rather than a stand-up show. And honestly, It might be a finesse in a way because I'm gonna be yo. I think Druski's selling out venues with like 8,000 people. Did y'all expect him to do like real stand up where like niggas have like practiced their whole lives for? You know what I mean? I think he's probably trying to do the best he can, but I mean, I'm not knocking it. But I understand why some fans might be like, no, we thought we were going to see like Dave Chappelle. Like, okay.
Y'all make some noise. Y'all make some noise. Let's get this shit going.
Let's go! Let's go! 1, 2, 3, next time. They say I'm a bitch. I'm a bitch. I'm a bitch. Let me give up
Okay. Hold up, Backstreet Boy.
No, hold on.
Hold the fuck up, Backstreet
Who's the next
Boy.
to the second verse?
You got a little too much pep in your step.
Do I?
Let's slow this shit the fuck down.
Well, I go by Chubby Jesus.
You said, hell no. Y'all know what the fuck we do. We don't do all that. Hey, don't say Jesus' name in vain. It's yours.
I'm Jewish.
All right, little Dickie, let's get this shit going. You gotta perform that way. What you come to do? You come to rap?
Yeah, I come to rap.
All right, let's hear it. Y'all give it up for Lil Dicky.
I've been walking around in my fucking Prada jeans, walking around like she on Prada.
There's some energy here, though.
Let's do it. Yeah, let's clap it up.
All right. I don't know. And apparently these, so you gotta take it with like a grain of salt. Apparently these are like TikTok reviews, so who sees or who knows? Here we go.
You on Druski, shoulda, woulda, coulda tour kicking off in Richmond, Virginia. So when we arrived at Trail, it was fairly easy getting in. We got some drinks before Druski came out. They was rocking their hips. I just want to rock. Yeah, they was doing their little thing. Y'all know it was TikTok moves. So Druski finally comes out. His set is really fun. You see the dudes lifting in the back. I'm like, I'm ready to be weak. Like, Druski ready to have me weak as fuck. I'm off the drinks. Like, this ready to be a good show. I will say Druski did not leave behind his desk only like 2 times. He was sitting behind that shoulda, woulda, coulda been records desk the whole entire time. This was basically like a talent show. Like, I'm not even gonna hold y'all. This was like local artists. Shout out to Monty. That's my friend. Everybody was just performing, and basically they got signed. Like this guy right here, he got signed. Hey. So yeah, a few people got signed. Actually, no one got signed but him. But yeah, it was just like a talent show, and Druski just made his little faces, little remarks. This was basically could have been records live. Like, that's what it should be called, because this wasn't really a comedy tour. It was just Druski making his comments and making facial expressions. These guys right here stole the show. They were really, 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 really funny, and Druski was feeling them a little bit. So yeah, it really wasn't given for the price, I will say. Like,
Hey, yo, so I hear there's an opener. Nav Green. I heard that thing is nasty. I heard that boy goes crazy. Don't know who he is, but I hear there's an opener and he's funny as fuck. Honestly, I kind of like that Druski's doing this. He probably like finessed it in the way that he kind of made people think it was gonna be stand up, but it's not stand up, and there's no problem if he doesn't do stand up yet. I think he eventually has to do stand up, right? He has to do stand up, and I think when I was watching like the Breakfast Club interview and he told the story about Kevin Hart saying to him like, "Yo, stop being pussy," and he's like, "What? What you mean?" And Kevin Hart was like, "Yo, get on that stage." Get on that stage means go do stand up, right? I think he eventually knows he has to do that, but I think a great way to capitalize off the audience that he's pulling like 100K people when he does this could have been records on live. Why not do it in person The only thing is you got to be honest with the fans because I think they're thinking you're gonna do some shit you haven't done yet, like in like a hour stand up special. So I don't have a problem with this, but I guess fans should probably just understand that y'all love the could have been shit on Instagram. He's just giving y'all that in person. What's the fucking problem? You get what I mean? Again, stand up is incredibly hard, and when you I think he's doing a soft way of getting into it, right? When you say you're doing stand up, people come with a straight face, like make us laugh, nigga. And your material got to be really good. It got to be really original. I think eventually he's gonna cross over and he's gonna do well, but I think let him build at this point. But if you went to this tour thinking you were gonna get stand up look from him, I guess you took the L or whatever. But salute to that boy Nav Green. I'm hearing that he's doing amazing. Somebody said, would I pay to see a show? I will. I am paying to see a show. When he come to New York, like I don't even hit him for tickets. I'm gonna just show up. I'm gonna show up to a show. He has a show in New York. I'm gonna show up and I want to watch. I just want to see how again. I think he has the amount of clout where no live show of his could really flop. And even when I'm listening to this, there's mad energy in the building. You get what I mean? It's just that some people are still a fan of the traditional form of comedy. Somebody say I'm capping? No, I'm not. Bro, I'm not capping, bro. Like, I literally... You have to realize we're also in a very different age, right? We're in a different age where how does a new comedian really get born? You get born by being funny online. How do you get funny online? I remember thinking this about DC Young Fly before he got on Wild 'N Out and before he really started hitting the stage and doing these tours and these shows. I used to say maybe DC Young Fly is just a roaster. Remember DC4 Young Fly used to be the guy you thought it was synonymous with, boy, bring that ass here. And he was just kind of just telling fast-paced jokes. But then you realize, this boy could kind of hold down an audience. He could kind of hold down a crowd. And yeah, he showed that he could transition in that comedy lane and do a pretty good job. As I said, the only reason why, and I'm not picking on Druski, the only reason why I look at Druski because Druski's the head. Pause. He's the head of what all the social media comedy shit is. He's the most popular person doing it. Right? Now, I think he was bigger than DC Young Fly ever was just on social media because he's already been in Drake videos, all type of commercials. He's huge. Now, if he just gets this one fundamental down, I could legit see him doing 15,000 venues next year. So that's why, and also here's the thing about DC as well. No, not DC, I mean Druski. Druski's one of those people, when I see him posted online, everybody, I've never heard somebody say Druski's not funny. I've never heard it. Never heard it. Somebody says, it took you 7 years to do podcasting. No. I hear what you said. Well, here's the thing. I'm glad you said it. That's interesting, but I think that parallel doesn't continue itself. I took the 7 years to wait to do podcasting because I was reading my audience, right? I think Druski, that's what I thought beforehand. When I seen he booked a tour doing average 7,000 seat venues, and I've never seen or heard of him doing stand-up other than some hosting stuff, I'm like, damn, this nigga must have a fucking set he's sitting on because word about that is going to get out. No matter if you do great, bad, mediocre, whatever. So I was interested in, damn, if he's jumping out this quick to do this tour, he got the shit. So that's why I was interested. But, if it doesn't happen now, he could come back again. He just got to keep that clout up, which I think he will. Somebody says, Desi way funnier, too. Is Desi Banks versus Druski a thing? Do people make, try to compare them? I'm not sure if that's a competition. Well, I haven't watched too much of Desi Banks. Like I feel like I've seen everything Druski done. Somebody say open up for J. Cole. All right. Well, anyway, Druski, I want to see you do a little bit more stand up, bro. A little bit more stand up. And again, I haven't seen the show. I'm just going off what other people said. I start googling and shit like that. I'm hoping bro. You could do the comedy and talent show shit there, obviously, which that's a hit. I'm pretty sure. I hope he does like 20 minutes of stand up. That's it, bro. 20 minutes of stand up. And we're gonna get into, as far as stand up goes, we're gonna get into some Will Smith and Chris Rock stuff later, because Chris Rock did a new stand up special for Netflix, which, by the way, I know a lot of people are gonna criticize him on how long he took to speak about this Will Smith shit, but yo, he waited till he got the bag secured and he talked about it and he kind of went in. So we're gonna talk about that in a little bit. But it looks like my overall view of this Druski's tour is that it appears that it's more of the same of what he does on Instagram Live, but I can't blame him because he always has 100,000 people watching the shit, so people clearly like it. I know, so y'all could be like, oh yeah, he gives, Apollo Theater talent show vibes all you want. Shit, people clearly loved it online. You're gonna love it in person. You know what I mean? Just go in understanding what it is and not expecting to see some other shit. All right? Okay, let's see what's going on. Let me see what else we got to touch on real quick. Got to keep the John Moran stuff going on. Let me touch on the Safari